financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is preparing and dealing with the undesired unknown. Disability, as well as the nursing home. Brian Small, good morning.
Oh my God, what an absolutely depressing topic.
And speaking of depressing topics, we've got Jeffrey Kirshner, disability expert.
I know, but it's kind of the unknown. How can I prepare for the unknown?
You can. Jim Simasco, the elder law expert.
You know, plan for the worst, hope for the best.
We got both of you guys on the spot today with this problem.
Well, he's easy because Father Time is undefeated, so we
Yes.
know that's going to happen.
There you go. All right, let's let the fun begin. Okay, you don't typically know ahead of time that you're going to end up disabled. Likewise, you don't typically know you're going to end up having to need to go to a nursing home. So first things first, what documents should you have to assist yourself if either of these contingencies were to occur?
If you become disabled and you have nothing in place, then someone has to petition the probate court to become your guardian or conservator. And whenever you go to court, you lose money. And then you're having a judge make decisions on who's going to be in charge of you. We avoid that with a durable power of attorney and a patient advocate. The patient advocate is for medical decisions. It's an advance directive, a medical power of attorney, a living will. There you appoint someone to make medical decisions for you if you can't make them for yourself. And then the power of attorney is on the financial side. And not all power of attorneys are created equal. You know, some have more powers, some have it effective immediately, some have it effective only upon your disability. So it's very, very important to have these documents done in advance. In fact, it's so important, when my children turned 18, I had them done for them.
So did you.
Yes, I did. It was
Did
happy
you?
birthday,
Yes.
sign here.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and a lot of people, they say, I don't need it yet. You know, I want to wait till I'm old. You know, you never know when a disability can occur.
I have a client coming in later on Monday, and same thing. I'm doing their estate plan, but I also did power of attorney and a healthcare power of attorney for their daughter who just turned 18. Disability, in the way you're using it, is the inability to act on your own behalf and make
Correct.
decisions. You deal with disability in a broader context of unable to work all the way up to unable to act on your own behalf.
Correct.
Okay, so your clients should have the same durable power of attorney in place as well.
Well, they all should, I think.
Yeah.
that
Everyone who's over
Jim
18.
is correct, and Brian espouses all the time with regard to that, is that everyone should have these things because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know to expect these things. Just like buying life insurance or disability insurance or all these other things, you should do them as early as possible to, protect yourself from any of these unforeseen things.
What are the chances of someone ending up in a nursing home, statistically?
It's around a third to half. But the older you get, the
greater
bigger
the
the
likelihood.
chance that happens.
And if you look at what's going on in today's society, modern medicine isn't necessarily keeping us healthier, it's keeping us alive. And, I had this discussion the other day with someone. You see a lot more people with dementia and Alzheimer's today than you did 30, 40 years ago.
Because they're
and
alive.
It's not because of anything different about people. It's because they're living longer and they're getting those maladies versus dying from a heart
You don't think it's because of the
attack.
cell phone being in their ear?
I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to comment on the cell phone concept.
No, but it's an unhealthy lifestyle
Right.
that you've lived your entire life. You eat at McDonald's every day or fast food. Don't complain when you're obese and diabetic when you're old.
This is indeed true.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the concept of. Oh, first, before we go to that, so 1 in 3 in the nursing home. What is there a statistic as to what are your chances of actually ending up being a Jeffrey Kirshner client where you're disabled?
Well, what's interesting is that from a work standpoint, in hurting yourself at work, it's getting less because workplaces are much safer. But at the same time, tantamount to what Brian's saying, I see a lot more claims of arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, psychological problems that have nothing to do with your physical labor, but just by the aging process of more people.
Is there a statistic as to what percentage of the population ends up with a
I'm
disability?
not certain
claim?
of a statistic per se.
Would you say, are you seeing more disability claims, constant number, or less than 10 years ago?
Oh, I'm definitely seeing more, and I think people are part of where I come from is that more and more people are understanding what Social Security disability is all about. There's that segment of the population that even if they're disabled, they're too proud or they don't want to beg the government or just don't know how to access the system. Now it's more prevalent because more people know how to access the system as well.
Are you seeing more claims related to mental health?
Yes.
I'm just curious about that.
Very much so. And just not just mental health, but pure mental health claims. Before, we'd see some mental health claims, but a lot of times you see mental health claims tied into some physical ailments too, and the combination of the two. Now I'm seeing many more claims where it's just purely mental health.
Do you know why that is?
I think just a lot of stress in the life, and obviously the financial crisis has helped. I think COVID has.
I think as a general rule, we'd all say that this world is a lot crazier now than it was 10 years ago.
And I say social media too has played an impact on people's self-esteem and things of that nature.
Do you think that is there a more positive recognition by the disability courts as to mental health, or are you still fighting the uphill battle with regard to that?
Depends on the box of chocolate, which judge you're going to get. It's still difficult for just a pure mental health claim because, again, you're only dealing with subjective complaints, subjective diagnoses. But I think more and more, as judges are exposed to these things, there is more of an acceptance to say, hey, yeah, there really is a problem going on here.
You know, it's like anxiety. Anxiety 20 years ago, where people would have this overwhelming ability that would kind of create paralysis. They'd say, oh, just get over it. And now it's far more recognized as a serious ailment.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. We come back and look at the problems that are encountered and what some of the solutions are.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
We were just spinning. We just didn't know what was going to happen next.
At Samasco Law, we deal with these issues every day, especially elder law. Pat went to work for Fran.
Patrick was there holding my hand, kept saying, we'll get through this, we'll get through this.
He got her husband Medicaid and in a nursing home. Samasco Law got the success they deserved.
Samasco Law is definitely family to me. I really appreciate knowing all of you.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress.
Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so you have this situation where you got nursing home potential, or you're ready for the nursing home, or you're disabled. Let's talk about some of the problems people experience in that context. They got credit card debt. They have lingering tax bills that are outstanding. All of a sudden they have no income coming in. What about the tax liability for your current year that isn't paid? If you're married, do you file a tax return married filing separate so that you don't expose your spouse to the liability? Where are you going to get money to support yourself? How are you going to pay for the nursing home? How are you going to pay for your expenses before Jeff's able to get you a disability check? These are big problems, and they're not simple solutions. I want to throw out one rule first and then toss it out to the group. All the time we see people that only want to work for cash. They want to work under the table. If they do that, they're getting no credits towards Social Security disability or Social Security retirement.
Correct.
I think that is the worst thing someone can do.
Yes.
Because as soon as they do that, they go to the, and usually it's employee driven more than employer.
Wait, one other problem you have too is that if you get hurt working, you're paid under the table. Typically, you
No
are
workers'
an
comp.
employee. You don't get workers' compensation either, so you get nothing in can't work.
And there's a risk for the employer or the person paying cash
Yes,
too.
for sure.
We
Yeah.
can't forget about that.
There's tax risk and there's workers' comp risk where it's criminal statute there as well.
Well, from a tax standpoint, it's not a deductible expense. So you're not getting the benefit of
It
paying
makes
the
no
wages.
sense. Usually I find it to be more employee driven than employer. The employer comes to me and says, can I pay them cash? Answer, no. I said to him, you can't ask me as a lawyer, can I pay my employees cash and cheat the government out of the payroll taxes and not report the income and not report it? The answer is no. I can't tell you to do that. And I'm also telling you it's a bad idea for you, and it's a worse idea for them. What you need to do is put them on the payroll and pay their payroll taxes. And if you have to pay them more money so that they net the same, that's what you got to work out with them. But the employee that does that and leaves himself with no retirement for Social Security, no Social Security disability payments if that happens, no workers' comp, is a fool. You're just living for your paycheck tomorrow, and you're closing your eyes to the reality that you are going to live long enough to grow old and ultimately retire. You can't live that way. Or if you do live that way, I hope you better follow the plan and make sure you die young. Because if you live long enough, you're gonna be really a sad sack. You're gonna have no money and no ability to work.
And probably a burden upon your family. And the government isn't going to give you anything. I mean,
And you're not able to get credit. You know, so if you don't have a
You got
tax
nothing.
return, you can't get a mortgage for a house or a loan for a car.
It makes no sense. So that's that don't work for cash, and then that way you can go see Jeff and you can follow through on a disability claim. What about, if you think you're disabled and you need a disability attorney, what do?
You've got to call me right away, even if it's just been a month out. It's never too early to call me. Now, it may be early to start the process in and of itself, but the sooner that people call me, I can first of all explain the philosophy behind the
Do I
Social
need to
Security
have
claim.
gone to a doctor first who told me I'm disabled, or should I call you first?
Well,
if
you
I
should-
think I'm disabled.
Well, I think you should always see a doctor first. That's always critical, that you talk to your doctors first, figure out what's going on with you. And
But wait, I don't have any money to hire an attorney. I'm disabled. I can't even work. Can you still help me?
the beauty of my practice is it's all purely contingent based. I don't charge any money up front. I don't charge any money unless I'm successful. Unless I'm successful, there is no money owed to me.
You know, I think it's important. We're all professionals. Doctors are professionals. When you have a problem, if you come to the professional first, it gives us more options. You know, if you're a doctor and you have a spot on if you're a patient, you have a spot on your face, go to the doctor soon before it's 10 times the size. You know, if your back hurts, get it looked at.
It's just like when somebody's
You need to
calling
identify
me
problems.
the day before their foreclosure sale. I can help, but the options are really, really limited down to one. Versus
Better than calling you the day after.
no,
That's for sure.
This is true. But if you called me when you first started having problems paying your mortgage, I have more opportunity. It's no matter what it is, no matter what professional you're seeing, no matter what your issue, the earlier you address the problem, the more opportunity you have to fix it.
So if you go into disability, like what is the process? What's the timing? I've gone to the doctor, I'm disabled, I go to see you. I'm not working now. I got no money coming in. I got some credit cards that I'm using to kind of hold me over. How long till you, I'll just be straight out. How long till you get me some money?
Well, it could take
And
some
how
time.
much money are you going to get me?
I usually will file the claim, if you come to me early enough, about 5 to 6 months after you've been unable to work. Remember, we have to show that you are unable to work for 12 months or longer, or that the duration of your disability will be 12 months or longer. The whole process, though, can take between the initial application that you file, and if we lose there, we file what's called a request for reconsideration, where they only approve 10 to 11% people in this intermediary phase, and then we file what's called a request for hearing.
So
if we lose
what's
there,
the average time it usually takes from the time I come to see you to the time I see money, assuming I'm disabled?
I would say the average time is probably 18 to 20 months.
So
How-
what do
how
I
does that-
do?
wait, how does that
what do we
compare
do
to
during this
private?
18, 20 months?
How does that compare to private disability insurance, where you're working for an employer and you have disability insurance through them?
That's usually much quicker. That's usually a quicker process with regard to a private disability policy, which some employers provide, and then some individuals themselves purchase themselves a disability policy, where you're not dealing with this whole system of the government that is working slower and slower all the time. You're working with a private company that spells out in their contract exactly what it means to be disabled.
If you get that insurance, are you still eligible for Social Security disability?
Not only you're eligible for Social Security disability, but most of these policies have a clause in there that says after a certain period of time, you must apply for Social Security disability, because there's a coordination of benefits clause, and it says that if you
So
don't
one
apply for
offsets the
SSD,
other?
correct. So
Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to explore the same issue of I'm ready to go into the nursing home.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
I was married for 57 years before my husband died.
Simasco Law had established a trust for them before this happened.
There's so much to do in the beginning, but after about a month, you're kind of alone.
We deal with estate planning and trusts every day.
If you continue to have good support and know that your finances and your estate is in order, that's one thing that's so comforting. I would just highly recommend Simasco Law.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Time for announcements. I want to announce THAV GROSS has opened a new office downriver in the Horizon building on Eureka Road. So now we're in Flint, downriver, and also our home office in Bingham Farms. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. You can do it by Zoom conference, in the office, any way that works best for you. Just call 888-235-HELP or go to the website, thavgross.com, to sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business law issues, elder law issues with Pat or Kelsey, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner. Again, sign up at lawandreality.com or thavgross.com or just call 888-235-HELP. Also, if you go to the website, you'll see there's free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by Jeff Linden and myself. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide to Social Security by Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Samasco Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
All right, so now, nursing home problem. Okay, you've got a family member. Your spouse needs to go in the nursing home. Your mother needs to go to the nursing home. We come to you, Jim. What's
right.
the process? How do we pay for this?
The process is you have to get the person asset qualified. Like any federal benefit or governmental benefit, you have to be qualified to get that benefit. And a lot of times we have to move assets around to make that person eligible for the benefit.
What benefit are we trying to make them eligible for?
Typically for the nursing home, it's Medicaid. Medicaid is a federal insurance that pays for long-term nursing home if you're eligible. And the Medicaid rules are different for every state. So Michigan's different than Florida, Wisconsin, Ohio. So when you apply for the benefits, you have to be asset qualified. If you're married, the stay-at-home spouse gets to keep a house, a car, a funeral contract, a life insurance policy not to exceed $1,500, and roughly the first $25,000.
$1,500 in benefit?
$1,500 in benefits.
Oh, that'll get you
That's
far.
it. So if it has a cash surrender value in excess of that, it's a countable asset. Pretty much you look at all your assets and you have to be financially qualified.
So you need to do fast planning then?
Absolutely. And the sooner we get people, you know, if we knew 5 years in advance, 3 years in advance, it's much more easy to get people qualified.
How often do people come to you with a 5-year in advance plan?
It happens, usually the people with the higher net worth, usually people who can foresee, you know, having a problem. If you have beginning stages of dementia, you know, and it's progressing, you know, sometimes they plan ahead. Boy, in 5 years I may need this benefit. A lot of people don't do it because everyone thinks this isn't going to happen to me.
So if you've got two spouses, is the planning easier than when it's only one spouse?
Yes, because the
You're
stay-at-home
married to two different people?
Right.
No.
That's what you want.
You're married to yourself.
So if a single person versus a
So,
married couple.
so if you're married to yourself, you have internal arguments with yourself.
Yes. But you can shift some of the assets or all the assets to the stay-at-home spouse because the law doesn't want to leave the stay-at-home spouse impoverished.
So with the married couple, there is a method to protect all of the assets and all of the income for the non-nursing home bound spouse.
Correct. It can be very complicated, but there is methods.
So here's the question that I get a lot. Is it the same nursing home?
In Macomb County, in Wayne County, in Oakland County, the answer is yes. Most of the nursing homes, virtually all of them, have Medicaid beds. Some are more desirable, and it's harder to get into. So the answer is you have to look at the availability at any
But
given
that's the
nursing home.
same thing with every nursing home regardless. Some are more desirable and harder to get into than others,
But
regardless.
they have both beds. Are they the same? Is it the same bed? Can be a
It
Medicaid
is.
bed. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not the
They'll
bed.
give you a
in
schlocky
B,
bed, right.
B wing is not the Medicaid bed, and A wing
No,
is not.
absolutely
the
not.
Same bed.
So
Yes.
same care, same
Same
doctors,
sh-
same
same
food,
sheets,
same
same
everything.
Same Jello, same sheets, same caregivers.
Same crummy Jello.
Same crummy Jello.
Orange.
It's the same
What's your
bland,
favorite?
bland food.
What's your favorite color Jello?
Red.
Green.
Orange.
There is an orange.
And yours?
What's your favorite?
Wait, what's yours?
Red. What's your favorite popsicle?
Red.
Grape. Purple.
Purple. I like fudgesicles.
I've always been.
There you go.
I'm red and purple.
Low in
I
calories,
like
too.
frown when I get the orange. Well, and it always seems like the orange comes up.
It's still refreshing.
50% of the time. It's not bad, but I happen to be big on popsicles. Sugar-free popsicles, 15 calories a popsicle. I've substituted noshing on ice cream when I'm watching on a couch for popsicles. At 15 calories a pop, you can have as many popsicles
Eat the whole
as
case.
you want. And it takes a long time. A popsicle lasts a fairly long period of time, 5 minutes. Whereas, think about how many pieces of chocolate you can go through in 5 minutes if you're really in a nosh mode. Anyway, we're off topic.
Yeah, but
So
the thing is,
the important topic, though.
a lot of times it's about moving assets from one spouse to the other, and you need the tools in place to do that.
So is that what the durable power comes in?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
Absolutely, positively.
But then the durable power's got to have the right language in it too.
Absolutely.
It's got to allow for Medicaid planning.
And most of them, the ones that we do. The ones you get off the internet probably don't.
Well, that's another great topic, is this idea that you can get legal documents off the internet or artificial intelligence without a lawyer reviewing them or providing them to you.
I think it's actually artificial lack of intelligence is what happens.
That's
if
going to
you-
be a huge problem.
How do you, if you can answer this question, go for it. How do you know what you're being provided is correct and accomplishes the goal? Are you just willing to trust the internet? That's why you need a professional.
You'd have to pay an attorney to review the
Yes.
internet
Point.
document to see
Which
if it's
takes
good.
more time than the attorney providing you the document that he's familiar with and that he knows.
That he knows works too.
Yes.
And for your state, too. Our laws are
Correct.
different in each state.
All the time people come in and say, can you look at my estate plan and tell me whether it's good? And the answer is yes, I can, and I can do a cursory review. But to go through and amend it and revise it versus doing a new one, it's faster to do a new one. Anyway, have a great week. We will be back next week with Law and Reality.